Nuisance value. This is Persuaders. We're getting really close to the end of the entire run of Persuaders. It's been great doing these reviews. I loved rewatching it. This is my third time through on this beautiful Blu-ray set that I have, and it's absolutely great. So let's talk about this one using my space system: story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best you can get in any category. This one is not going to score high. It's going to be on the lower side, but not really because of anything other than one specific reason, which I'm going to get to. I'm going to give the storyline a 1.5. I actually like the story and the structure of what's going on. So no mistaken identity or anything like that. Danny is friends with this girl, this rich girl. She's a spoiled rich girl. She's in love with this guy, Michelle, his name is. And she wants to marry him, but her dad is like, no, he's not good enough for you, blah, blah, blah. She gets kidnapped by Michelle and then ransomed for $500 million. Danny goes to rescue her and then gets caught up in it as well because he gets captured. And now her father thinks that Danny is the one who kidnapped her. So it all turns out that she actually kidnapped herself. Like, her and her lover wanted to get money from her father to leave, but then there's another twist, and the other twist is that he never had plans to leave with her. He just wanted her father's money, and then he was going to leave by himself. Then there's another twist, and then the other twist is that actually it was the girl's kind of maid, or like her helper, her kind of handmaiden or whatever, was just irritated with her, and she orchestrated it with this Michelle guy. So there's a few twists in it. So really the storyline is great. I'd give it a 2 out of 2 for the storyline, but you could call it like, you're like, yeah, I know. The only thing you really couldn't call, I don't know, you could almost, it almost seemed like a little bit predictable the whole way, but it was done in such a good, it was done so well that it didn't matter that much. Like, you predicted it, but you didn't feel like you were cheated. So it was done in a really good way. The pacing is a 1.5. It's actually well paced because of these twists. So every time something happens, there's an action scene, and then some of the plot is revealed, and then there's an action scene, and then some of the plot is revealed. So that's all great. All that stuff is really, really good, and it makes it go fast. The artistry is 1.5 because everything looks amazing. There are some dark scenes which you can't see that well. It's okay. There's no outside lighting, so they're just using it's just outside, so it's just dark. Some nice locations and some nice scenery. So definitely some really good looking stuff there. And I could almost just give it a 2 out of 2. There's some pretty decent fight. You know what? I am going to give it a 2 out of 2 for artistry. I'm changing my mind. I'm giving it a 2 out of 2 for artistry because there was a lot of decent shots and a lot of good fighting and all that. So all of that stuff has been really good so far. The problem is now in the characters. I'm going to give the characters a 1. Danny and Brett are awesome. The kidnapping guy is fine and whatever, but the girl, she is the absolute worst character in all of the Persuaders. I couldn't stand her. She's a spoiled, rich piece of garbage. I can't take her at all unless she's so annoying. She's like, oh, I love Michelle. I was kind of okay with her until there's one line of dialogue. See, the problem is that as soon as she realizes that Danny's being blamed, because Brett comes and he's like, hey, listen, we got to take you back because Danny is being blamed by your father for kidnapping you, and he sent his goons out, and it's basically a shoot to kill, ask questions later. Shoot first, ask questions later, so Danny could get killed. And she's like, well, I don't care. That's where she lost me. She was an annoying girl. She was annoying, that's fine, but that's where she lost me. And then the second thing is that she's like, well, we're going to go elope or whatever. And Brett and Thing are just like, well, why don't you just go elope? Like, who cares? Why fake a kidnapping? Like, just leave. And she's like, well, we need the money and all of that. So she's selfish. She doesn't actually love. She doesn't want to actually commit to the love story. And the episode is supposed to make you turn back to her favor because she's betrayed by the guy, but I'm not, because her thing was wrong also. Just because his wrong was more than her wrong, that doesn't make hers any less. I couldn't stand her, and she kept fighting with Brett, and then Brett and Danny are going to get thrown under the bus for kidnapping her. She doesn't care. So I absolutely despised her, and I don't know, I couldn't stand her at all. So that's the problem with the characters. Enjoyment factor, I'm still going to give it a 1 because I still like the episode outside of that girl. Like, I can recognize that it's a well done episode, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, but her character really drove it down for me. So it's not a bad episode, and if you're not annoyed by the girl, you might think, oh, she's cute and she's funny, so it's just like, that's just part of the character. that's fine. But she was annoying to me and I couldn't stand her. So that was what brought this down a little bit. But otherwise, still a solid episode of Persuaders. This one happens in Spain. I think the last episode was Italy then. But anyways, loved this one, just not the characters. So 7 out of 10. Make sure you like the video, hit subscribe, and check out the Classic TV playlist. That's it. Until next time.